So, of course, Donald Trump has been cleared in his impeachment trial, and for now, his supporters may seem to have quietened down. But the rise of misinformation and distrust of the mainstream is still very much alive. From the belief that the media is putting out fake news to COVID denial and anti-vax, the counter-narrative remains very strong in America. We've been to meet some people caught in a vortex of misinformation, which is driving a wedge between families and friends. And we hear from those trying to help others back into the mainstream again.
There's videos of me with millions and millions of views saying stuff that I literally cannot imagine ever saying now. And if I heard someone say those things, I'd be like, are you insane? I was a filmmaker who's made loads and loads of content on the online far right for Alex Jones, Tommy Robinson, the most sort of pronounced people creating the content that loads of people have seen on their news feeds.
And the whole time while this
The New York Times said it's like 500 million views that I've indirectly or directly like created of this kind of content. It feels terrible. Like it feels like you've like added to creating a monster that's still walking around and destroying everything. The fact that you have millions of people in America who now literally say that the election was a complete hoax, that democracy basically is a fraud, that lizards run the country, that COVID is fake, that the Chinese virus has been developed in a lab to control us all, that is 10 times more extreme than any of the stuff that we started pushing back in 2016 and 2017. But we planted the seeds that led to this like absolute insanity.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
USA! USA!
So I knew she was going to the January 6th thing, and I immediately was like worried about my mom and her safety. And even though she was just on the lawn of the Capitol building and not, actively climbing over barricades, she was there and she did what the president told her to do. It's been a really hard time looking at tweets where your mother basically sounds like, a mentally ill person on the sidewalk and, babbling. On the lawn of the Capitol building yesterday, I witnessed a woman kneeling in prayer, speaking in tongue, hands raised in the air in the middle of the complete chaos. These types of tweets really scare me. In my own therapy for this, I've been advised to just disconnect from it because I can't control it, I can't help, and she's an adult. Ultimately, she's gonna do and think whatever she wants.
I do believe the election is stolen 100%, 300%. There's no democracy. I don't believe that anymore. The mainstream narrative, things are wrong on the virus itself, on lockdowns, on elections, on democracy in the world. I don't believe they represent the truth anymore. I was living in a shared house and we had very different opinions. And it became difficult to live with people who are not on your wavelength or same page. But these are usually people who have never done any research or have looked into true facts because they only follow the television box. And it's so easy to criticize people if you haven't done your own research or looked into things as you should.
When I first found far-right content, it was in 2013. And then in 2018, I began to come out of it. And that period took about a year. And it was slow, and there was no one moment. People like Trump and the far right, they are creating an epic adventure to go on, to save your homeland, to save Western civilization. What's more powerful than that? Nothing. I'm working with Kalen to produce counter content and to give people a way out. We got to draw that path, you know? That's what it's about for me.
I'm so glad you're here, because it's all well and good someone who was a filmmaker, someone who was creating this content coming out and being like, this was awful. But 99% of people that were affected by all this were the people who were watching it, like you. And so without people like you, it would be like impossible, because you represent everybody. I represent like 1% of like the kind of, you know, the people who, yeah, the worst.
Well, we all got wrapped up in it, right?
I don't know if my mom will ever be able to get well, but I hope that she will.
These people were radicalized very, very, very slowly through, you know, algorithms pitching them more and more extreme content over time. They were primed to believe what they believe now. Pulling them out of it is going to be the same process. You know, a very gradual experience like it was with me leaving.